Hey everybody, wanted to do a My Thoughts On video specifically on the Medal of Honor multiplayer beta for PC. First off, great job EA, you finally got us a frickin' beta. Too bad the consoles had the beta, in June and July, and we finally get the beta just before the game is released on October 12th. Great idea right there. Anyway, um, first off, I'm going to say that I didn't have many expectations going into this game. I really didn't expect it to be remotely decent at all. And in some ways I was right, in other ways I was wrong, so, well, let me get started. Now, first off, the multiplayer runs on Frostbite engine, and the single player runs on Unreal Engine 3, I believe. So, first off, you have a couple of problems there. Now, I will say that this is the optimized version of the Frostbite engine, so it runs a lot better than Bad Company 2 does. And you'd expect it to look just as good, and it really doesn't. The textures are lesser res. They really didn't put a lot of effort into them. The animations are pretty much the same as they were in Bad Company, and that's not a good thing, because those animations weren't particularly great to begin with. I mean, character animations are fine, but the first-person animations just look ridiculous. Movement, you're shaking your gun around like an idiot. You're reloading like you got ammo in the magazine no matter what you're doing. It's just really this kind of cheesy, dumb-looking animation that really I really don't like that kind of animation. And DICE has done that constantly throughout the Battlefield series, and now they're doing it with this, so it's just, that gets on my nerves. The modeling is probably the best part of the graphics overall. The models are very well done, and they do actually bring up the animations and the textures just a little bit. But still, it just doesn't look up to par, really. You'd expect it to look much better, but it really doesn't. I mean, explosions and particle effects, they look terrible. The explosions look like firecrackers going off. I mean, they're really pathetic. Stuff doesn't go flying everywhere. There's no destructible environments like there are in Bad Company. So, when you blow up some sandbags, that's about as destructible of an environment as you get. You can blow up sandbags. It's really, really pathetic. Now, one thing they didn't skimp on, however, is the sound design, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's get these very beefy, concussive sounds, and unfortunately, the game doesn't take full advantage of that, though. They still sound a little bit grainy at times, and that may just be my headset, it may just be my sound card, I don't know, but they just don't sound as good as Bad Company 2 does. And I know I'm comparing this to Bad Company 2 a lot, but it's the same engine made by the same people. You'd expect the sound design and the graphics to be pretty much the same, and, well, in some ways they are, in some ways they aren't. But the sound design is still very well done. All the explosions sound awesome. All the gunfire sounds awesome. The battle chatter is pretty good. Some of the voice acting is a little bit cheesy, but it's not too bad. The music, on the other hand, is very minimalistic, and it works okay. It's just that it doesn't really do anything to enhance or take away from the game. Now, what I really concerned myself with was the gameplay and the logistics. Now, first off, it does run on dedicated servers. It does have a server browser. Unfortunately, the server browser didn't work during the beta, so I was forced to resort to matchmaking. And the matchmaking actually did work pretty well. It's just that I get the feeling it won't work as well when you go to the full release because of the fact that during the beta they've only got the official servers. So it could degrade the performance of the matchmaking when we go to the full release and people start getting third-party dedicated servers and all that. But we'll see how that goes. Overall, the gameplay is the main problem of the game. You wouldn't really expect this to be absolutely phenomenal because it basically rips off both Bad Company and Modern Warfare. But it does some interesting things that could have really gone somewhere, but they really don't. But first off, let's start with what makes it a really crappy game, so to say. First off, the weapon balancing is absolutely terrible. I mean, it's just abysmal. First off, you have sniper rifles, which are generally 1 to 2 hit kills, depending on what you're using. And really, that's perfectly fine by me. I mean, a sniper rifle is supposed to be a really powerful instant kill weapon. But the battle rifles, which the snipers also get, they're semi-automatic. They generally have 10 rounds in the magazine. and they do the same amount of damage, but with a red dot sight. And since none of the guns have any particular amount of recoil, I mean, if there is recoil, I really didn't notice it because it's just so minimal. And so, with a sniper rifle or a battle rifle, really what you're going to choose is the battle rifle, simply because they're semi-auto, and because everything's pinpoint accurate, and there's no recoil, and the sniper rifles and the battle rifles do pretty much the same amount of damage. It really just lends itself well to camping and just picking people off with these battle rifles, and it's really annoying. The assault rifles, the M16, takes probably 10 to 15 shots to kill someone, and that's ridiculous. And then the AK-47, which the OPFOR has, takes maybe 7 or 8. So another problem is that the OPFOR's weapons are much more powerful than the Coalition's weapons. And, I mean, that's it's really not much of a difference because of the hit detection, which is equally as bad as the weapon balancing. But anyway, pistols do more damage than the assault rifles. It takes me maybe 3 or 4 shots to take somebody down with a pistol from either side. And that's really sad when your assault rifle does less damage than your pistol. And the carbines do even less damage, because the M4 carbine will actually take maybe 15 shots to take somebody down. And that's ridiculous. I mean, it's just stuff like that that's insane. Now, one thing they did to distinguish themselves from Modern Warfare was to go the sort of Bad Company route and make the explosives absolutely pathetic. And that's a problem in itself, because explosives are by their very nature devastating. In Bad Company, at least they had the purpose of blowing up cover or blowing up a position or just or a vehicle. In Medal of Honor, they're used entirely to blow each other up. And since the rifle grenades basically have to be shoved down somebody's throat in order to do any damage, and since the AT-4 is pretty much useless unless you hit them directly with it as well, the RPG, on the other hand, is basically like it is in Modern Warfare. Insanely overpowered. If you get within basically 10 feet of somebody with that thing, it's going to do at least a little damage. And, I mean, when you have the other explosives doing very little damage, even at close range, and the RPG doing a pretty decent amount of damage at medium to long range away from it compared to the other stuff, and being an instant kill when you're within a certain radius, that's just sad. I mean, that really does not work all that well. Now, in addition to the insanely bad weapon balancing, the hit detection just sucks. I mean, you will aim directly at somebody and fire with your practically no recoil, practically no bullet spread weapon, and maybe hit them 3-4 times out of 10, just because the hit detection sucks. The hitboxes just are really all over the place, I guess, because it's just bad. Now, another problem is there's no destructible environments apart from blowing up sandbags. And when it comes to the like Bad Company, when you would blow up cover, that really actually helped you out. And it really discouraged camping. Now, when you get rid of that element, you encourage camping. And in the 2 maps that are in the beta, which are the Kunar base and some sort of mountain, I can't remember because I haven't played it very much. First off, it's really hard to tell your enemies apart from the terrain, just because of the way the art style is and the way they decided to go with the clothing on the characters. I mean, it's just terrible to try to pick somebody out from a rock or something. I mean, you'll be sitting there and you'll be shot and you'll have no idea where from, just because they blend in with the environment. So that's a problem in itself. And in addition, just the map design is bad. Now, the mountain's a little bit better than the base, but the base is just these really, really cramped map, apart from 2 or 3 particular stretches of area. And the spawns in this game are terrible as well, because you'll be sitting there and trying to capture a point, and all of a sudden the enemy will start spawning behind you, where your team was just spawning, and it's horrendously annoying. I mean, you'll be gunned down from behind, or knifed, or hit with the axe, or whatever, and that's just annoying. But then again, the cool thing that they did was actually take the kill streak idea and change it to a score-based system. So instead of getting a set number of kills, like say 3 kills for a UAV, instead it's 50 points for either a mortar strike or intel, which I guess would be your sort of UAV. And you get to choose because it goes back and forth between the two. And obviously everybody's going to choose the mortar strike because who really gives a crap about like a UAV or something? And another thing I should mention is the map is terrible. All of your teammates show up as white, and when your heads-up display is already this kind of washed-out color, that's a problem because you really can't tell them apart from the background itself, and that's really annoying. Now, enemies, on the other hand, are this kind of darkish yellow-orange, and they really do pop out, so maybe that helps or something, I don't know. But anyway, the kill streaks are actually, I don't know, they're sort of okay. The only two I've managed to use are the Mortar and Rocket Barrage. And really it's just like this instant drop of a bunch of mortars or this instant attack of a bunch of rockets, and it's either hit or miss. I mean, if there's somebody in the immediate vicinity, it's going to do damage, but if there's not, it's really kind of pointless. And that's what comes to mind when I'm playing this game. It's kind of pointless. At least in Modern Warfare, you're playing it and you got stuff to work forward to. You got challenges and all this kind of stuff. In Medal of Honor, it's kind of got to be the Bad Company 2 class system where you have 3 different classes, and you gain experience points in each one, and it ranks up and you get more bonuses for that class. Like, say, you might unlock a red dot sight or something. And sure, that's kind of incentive to play as different classes, but it really doesn't matter because pretty much everybody's either going to be an assault or a sniper. They don't really care about Spec Ops unless they're playing as the Op 4. And, I mean, the class system they've put in is pointless. They might as well just have a rank system and it would work just as well. Weapon customization is kind of pathetic. I mean, it's a little bit better than Modern Warfare's in theory, but it's really not. Because you'll be sitting there and you'll unlock, say, red dot sight, and eventually you'll unlock a suppressor. And you have 3 different slots on your weapon. You have the one for the sights, you have the one for the barrel, and then the one for the base, which is just your magazines. So your barrel can be switched out for a flash hider or a suppressor or something like that. And then your iron sights can be switched out for a scope or a red dot or something like that. And while that does help a little, it really doesn't matter. Because, I mean, you can just fire from the hip and be just as effective as aiming down the sights, just because the hit detection is so bad and because the bullet spread is practically non-existent. I mean, this game really just takes what's bad about Modern Warfare and mixes it with like the Bad Company 2 engine and just smashes it together, wipes away the bloody mess, and that's kind of what you get with Medal of Honor. So, is it worth playing? I don't know. The beta expires the 7th, so if you haven't played it and you want to play it, might as well. It's still free. It's open beta. But, I mean, I really don't recommend it, because it's just a frustrating, tedious mess of a game. And, I mean, it should be fun, that's the thing. But I really don't feel like I'm working towards anything. I really don't feel like I'm playing a game. I feel like I'm playing just a death fest, because that's all you do in the game, is either you're one of the people who camps and wins, or you're one of the people who spawns and dies. I mean, that's really how it goes. But, I mean, is it worth playing? Probably not. Is the single player any good? I don't know. It might be, but I'm really not looking forward to Medal of Honor. And I'm definitely not planning on getting it after playing this beta. And so, if that really helps you out, then let me know. If I need to clarify something, let me know. But overall, it's really not worth playing. And, I mean, if you really, really like the beta, then you'll probably like the full game, but I really just can't recommend it to everybody.